Sutu, I'm an Australian artist, and for the last 2 decades I've been creating digital experiences. I'm definitely like a serial technologist. I'll jump on the new thing. But just a couple of years ago, I wanted to tell a really special, important, personal story about my grandfather. We used our AR app that we created to activate the animation on the building, but we had that plugged into a data projector that was strapped onto the back of a bike, and we used the AR to calibrate the projection, so we didn't have to sit there all day kind of lining it up. After that, people were like, oh, we really want, the full story. What is this? Who is this character that you're putting up and stuff? And then I decided to expand that 1 or 2 artworks into like an augmented reality comic book, which became kind of my first sort of commercial AR piece. So most recently, I've been experimenting in kind of a larger scale world building process with the NFT community on Tezos. For the last year, I've been putting up sort of like these illustrations that I was doing on my iPad because I had a baby and I couldn't be in VR, and I needed to be able to watch the little guy. So I was sitting around a lot and animating on my iPad. And I was fortunate that got some traction, and I built up a bit of community around my art with that sort of specific aesthetic. And so I kept on iterating on that, and then I came up with the concept of the Neons project, which is it's a 10K generative art project. There's 10,000 avatar designs of sort of cyberpunk, retro-futuristic characters. I had this vision of this type of project where everyone could own one of those artworks, and if you owned one of those artworks, it would unlock other experiences. I worked with a fantastic programmer, Sheltron, who's a genius in Unity and augmented reality and stuff like that. We collaborated on it, and he was able to create like volumetric lighting, so the light that the neon projects would cast onto the physical world, so it really felt like it was there. And then we also created some another elusive NFT with utility called the light fields, and that was like a special world effect. So if you had a light fields in your wallet, suddenly if you activated that light fields in AR, it would create like a Tron-like animation over all the surfaces that the phone would detect in your real world. So it would put like animated lines over these plants and animated lines all over me in a Tron-like style. And now that's just like the beginning. And then the next step is to take them into the Sutuverse, which will be an interactive WebGL-based sort of 3D environment, like a game environment, where you'll be able to run around as your neons. A lot of what that work has been about is, how do we use this digital technology to connect us as human beings, to connect us to one another, but also to connect us with the environment that we inhabit. You could argue that augmented reality is a distraction over the real world, or it could be a beacon to highlight aspects of the real world. Generally, when we sort of think about, we're entering into the metaverse era now. Everything is about these virtual experiences that sort of bring us together and allow us to sort of extend our identity with the digital things that we collect and what kind of defines our identity digitally. These days, I'm much more conscious about how I like making conscious decisions to sort of hopefully steer our digital culture in a more healthy direction. For each other, for like my baby that's going to grow up as the first gen in these like new technologies and things like this. So I'm really excited about like the possibility of community, using technology to bring people together and world building collectively.